Yo, his last name's Heaney, his first name's Seamus. All the poems he's wrote made him famous.
Born in Northern Ireland
In 1939, on April 13th, Arius is his sign. His daddy was a farmer.
and his grandpa too.
At 12, he went to Collins College.
Clearly he's smarter than you. He went to Queen's University of Belfast.
His love for poetry began to grow.
And that would last.
He married Marie Devlin in 1965. And you know what's pretty cool? He's still alive. He wrote Death of a Naturalist, his first collection. It received some criticism, but mostly affection. He was a visiting professor at Harvard University. His poems were about lots of topics. Look at that diversity. In 1995 came his Nobel Prize for Literature. But you know what's even better? This sweet caricature. He translated Beowulf, and it became a bestseller. It was read internationally. He's a swell feller. But in 2006,
He suffered from a stroke. Then Bill Clinton visited him.
good thing he didn't croak. Thanks for watching. We hope you liked our singing. Now here's an interpretation of Heaney's poem, Digging.
Between my finger and my thumb, the squat pen rests, snug as a gun.
This poem begins with Heaney describing himself holding a pen.
He compares it with a simile to a gun, which symbolizes that writing has power.
Under my window, a clean rasping sound when the spade sinks into gravelly ground. My father digging. I look down till his straining rump among the flower beds bends low, comes up 20 years away, stooping in rhythm through potato drills where he was digging.
Heaney then goes on to describe the noises he hears when his father is digging, and he goes out and looks out of his window to watch his father.
And then the familiar sound of him digging reminds him of how his father was also a farmer earlier in life, about 20 years ago, as mentioned in the poem. And he stoops in rhythm, which shows that his father's work is graceful as well as skillful.
The coarse boot nestled in the lug. The shaft against the inside knee was levered firmly. He rooted out tall tops, buried the bright edge deep to scatter new potatoes that we picked, loving their cool hardness in our hands.
Heaney describes in detail the image of his father farming, using words such as the boot nestled on the log and the inside knee was levered firmly to give the reader a clear picture of what his dad looked like.
And then Heaney uses words such as we and our to include himself in the act of farming, showing the reader that he was also a farmer.
By God, the old man could handle a spade, just like his old man.
By saying by God and saying that his father could handle a spade, Heaney is showing admiration for his father and for his father's farming.
And with the next line, just like his old man, Heaney is referring to his grandfather, who was also a farmer, and he also has admiration for him and his farming.
My grandfather cut more turf in a day than any other man on Toner's bog. Once I carried him milk in a bottle, corked sloppily with paper. He straightened up to drink it, then fell to right away, nicking and slicing neatly, heaving sods over his shoulder, going down and down for the good turf, digging.
The first two lines of the stanza are used to further show admiration for his grandfather.
And then Heaney recalls an anecdote about his grandfather and milk, and this is for the purpose of making the poem more personal.
And then in the last few lines, Heaney includes polysyndeton to describe the repetitive nature that his grandfather falls back into after drinking the milk. And this is used to make farming seem more skillful and rhythmic.
The cold smell of potato mold, the squelch and slap of soggy peat, the curt cuts of an edge through living roots awaken in my head. But I have no spade to follow men like them.
At the beginning of this stanza, Heaney uses synesthesia and onomatopoeia to help emphasize the description that he experiences farming.
And when he says that living roots awaken in his head, he's talking about the desire to farm, and how he still does have that. But when he says, I have no spade to follow men like that, he uses spade as a symbol for drive and ambition. And with that line, he is basically deciding that he's not going to farm, he's going to be a writer.
Between my finger and my thumb, a squat pen rests. I'll dig with it.
Heaney repeats the first two lines from the beginning of the poem with the exception of the simile to demonstrate a shift in focus to the pen in his hand.
Then the last line, I'll dig with it, is used to show that although he's not going to pursue a career in farming like his grandfather and father and literally dig, he's going to dig through ideas and creativity to write poetry. And ending with this line shows the connection between his ancestry and himself because they're both digging.
Oh, we're ending back.